Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I am joined by UK comedian legend Rhod Gilbert. How are you, sir?
Oh, I like that. I like that UK legend. I like that. You mean? I mean, I guess that means I've been around a long time, doesn't it? That's what that means.
Yeah,
I'm
one
still
of
here. I'm still...
still here, one of the best, still doing it. You are on tour across the UK with your Giant Grapefruit tour. You're coming to Portsmouth Guildhall on the 6th of July. I know that this isn't your first time to Portsmouth, but is it something that you look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I like touring anyway. I look forward to, and Portsmouth's one of those. Well, how can I put it? How can I put it? I go best in places that are down to earth, shall we call them?
That's a nice way
real,
of putting
real.
Portsmouth.
Yeah, down to earth, real places, real salt of the earth places. That's where I go best. And yeah, I love coming down that way. It's a really, it's a good atmosphere actually. The Portsmouth Guildhall. It's one of those with a bit of edge to it. It's a fun venue. There's some venues that you kind of go, oh, that one's, some of them are a bit leisure centery,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I don't know, or a bit town hall converted into a thing. And it's all good. But yeah, some of them you look forward to. Portsmouth's good.
Firstly, how are you? Because you've been through it for the last few years, haven't you?
I have been through it for the last few years, but I have come out the other side. Uh, I've come out the other side, and I'm feeling really good, actually. I mean, I was saying to somebody at the back, outside my shows these days. Sometimes people hang around after for a chat, especially talking about cancer. Funnily enough, and I was saying last night, I feel a bit like Spider-Man. I'm not sure if the radiotherapy has done something, has altered my has altered my, whatever you call it, my DNA, but I've got so much energy. And it might be partly because I've lost so much weight through the treatment that, they do say when you lose weight, you feel you've got more energy. I don't know what it is, but I feel like superhuman.
Well, like you say, and also you've made slight changes. We were just talking before we went live there. We were talking about where you stay when you are on tours, whereas, it's a generic thing, isn't it? You go and stay, I'm not going to name any names, but you go and stay in the generic hotel that's closest to the
Yeah,
venue,
yeah.
and it's maybe not the most awe-inspiring of place to go. But now you're doing it slightly different, and you are trying to find lovely places to go and stay whilst you are in the city.
Yeah, I rock up, and none of this little city hotel next to the venue with stag and hen do's and stuff. No, I find little Airbnbs out in the mid. When I come down to Portsmouth, I'll be somewhere out in the countryside, or maybe even the coast.
Mm.
Grab a swim, grab a long walk in the countryside of the day. I find the countryside just nourishes my soul, and
Yeah.
I love sea swimming and stuff. So before a gig, that's my way of preparing. Just peace, peace.
So there you go. Depending on where you are, whether it's Portsmouth, whether you're somewhere else in the country, if Rod's playing in your town, keep an eye open for him. Even having a little swim in the sea before, or maybe having a little walk in the country. You never know. You might just catch him.
Yeah, I'm not skinny dipping, just in case anyone's getting the wrong wrong idea.
Does everything that you've been through, does it not only change your outlook on life, but does it also change your outlook on comedy as well?
It's changed my outlook on everything. Full stop. I'm still. I don't know if it's changed my outlook on comedy that much. I've been moving in a direction of more personal stuff and more serious stuff. I guess in the old days it would be about tog ratings and torches and lost luggage and baked potatoes. Not really the big stuff of life. But over the last few years, I've sort of moved to talking more about myself and about health stuff. And the last tour was more like that. It was about infertility and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so this one is definitely that sort of thing. This is a show. This is about my cancer story. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing funny about cancer. I'm very aware of that. Having said that, I want to laugh at it and laugh at my story and the funny things that have happened over the last 2 years. Because you have to keep a sense of humor about it. It's the only way to get through, I think.
Well, it's very funny because obviously this is how we've started the interview by talking about your cancer. Like we say, you've been a comedian for so many years. You've been so successful. You've done so many TV shows and stand-up tours and everything else. And this is the one thing that we're talking about at the moment. Much like somebody who's had a one-hit wonder, are you a little bit bored of talking about it?
About cancer?
Yeah.
No. Oh, I find it. I mean, no, not at all. And I think it's because every night is different. Every show is different. Every night I'm asking if there are any cancer patients in. Every night people talk to me, share their experiences. There's sort of amazing things happen every night. You know, there's people who are about to go through it, and we get end up chatting and what you know. I don't know. It's really personal. It's a real community. No, I don't. I'm still processing it myself as well. That's the other thing. So I find it not selfishly. I find it helpful for me. But I'm hoping it's a. You know, it is a comedy show. I wanted this show to be as funny as anything I've ever done. You know, I'm talking about cancer, but I want it to be as funny as talking about lost luggage or baked potatoes or toothbrushes or anything else. That's my first priority, really, is to make people laugh. So it is a show about cancer. Having said that, it's like any other comedy show I've done. I've got to get out there and make people laugh and laugh a lot, you know, and that's my goal. So it's about cancer, but it's really a comedy show.
Do you also find, obviously, like you say, you have been around for a while you know, in comedy, doing stand up and TV shows and everything, very much like I'm thinking of, you know, elder comedians like, for example, Billy Connolly, who started in his career talking about, you know, putting your bike in your dead wife's bum and bits and pieces like that. And then through, you know, later in his life,
It wasn't true that, I don't think, was it that?
not
It
sure.
wasn't all true. It
I
wasn't
don't
all
think
true.
so. But then later in his life, he wasn't so much about like telling jokes, much more telling stories. And you went to see Billy, you know, obviously you knew you were going to laugh, but he wasn't going to be jokes. He was going to be telling stories about his life. Do you think that maybe your live show is kind of evolved from talking about baked potatoes, like you were just saying, into
Yeah.
now actually, you know, talking about life, and life can be funny?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I've evolved. I've definitely evolved. Some comedians don't evolve. They've got their thing.
Mm.
You can think of people, you know, that have gone out there from day one and are still 20 years, 30 years later, still doing exactly that thing. And that works for them, and that's what they enjoy, and that's fantastic. For me, I've evolved constantly over the years because I just got bored or tired of what I was doing, or I just felt like doing something different. So I started out on stage. I was very quiet. I didn't move at all. I just held the microphone and I just said a few words. I would pause, then I'd say a few words more. It was all invented, totally surreal, about this imaginary town, Llanbobl in Wales, and an imaginary family. And then a few years later, I was running around the stage, ranting and raving about duvets and stuff at the top of my voice. And, you know, and now I'm talking about really serious stuff. So I've always changed. And I think some people just do feel the need to change, and you can't help it. It just happens organically. It just happens naturally. But I'm always amazed by people who are doing the same thing. You know, it fascinates me that people go out there and do the same thing for 20 years. Not the same material, but the same style. You know, they don't
Yeah.
evolve.
Well, so I mean, some people do, and some people it works, but some
Yeah.
people, you say, it's nice
Yeah.
to evolve and nice to change. I have noticed that a lot of comedians share clips of their set on socials. You don't really tend to do that much, but what you do is take a video from the Rod seat, and I absolutely love that. Where did you get that idea?
Just popped in my head one night, I think. I mean, I'm not really on social media, so I missed out on all that. And very early doors, I thought Twitter and that, it's not for me. These things are not for me, and TikTok and stuff. This is definitely not what I'm about at all. So I missed out on all of that kind of marketing and promotional opportunity, which is where it's at, really.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I missed the whole thing. So I just thought, what can I do? And I thought, if I just pick one seat per night in every show. So when I come down to Portsmouth, I'll go out into the crowd before they arrive. You know, when it's empty, I'll sit in one seat, take a little video of myself saying, this is seat F25 or whatever. Don't. That's not Portsmouth's not
It's not
F25,
pre-done. It's
right?
not pre-done.
Don't. Whoever's got F25, don't come looking for it. Exactly. I'll do it on the day, whatever seat I'm sat in, and then I'll say, right, and you win. And my tour manager will take out a signed T-shirt and just give it to that one person. So it's one person per show, and we don't do merch or anything else. So it's just quite a nice little thing, really, a nice little marketing thing, a nice little prize for somebody in the audience. But that's it. That's the extent of my social media activity, really. So I think I've pretty much missed the boat on it.
Well, look, sometimes less is more, you know, and let's face it, if you see
Sometimes.
so much of a comedian show on the socials, then you know you kind of seen half of the show already. But with you, it's going to be an entirely new surprise, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. I know sometimes people put little clips up, people film it, don't they, secretly in the gig and put
Yeah.
little clips up. We usually try and slam those down like Whack the Rat, try and get people to take those down just because it spoils it, doesn't it? It spoils it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it really. You don't want to see the show before. I'd saying that people come, people come time and again. I get people coming to shows and I meet them at the stage door or something. They said, this is the third time we've seen this show. And I think, what's wrong with you? You just got really bad memories or what? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
listen,
exactly. Yeah.
I should be flat. I should be flattered, and I should be very grateful that people, very kindly coming along again. I should be very flattered, but it kind of freaks me out a bit.
They said, well, our DVD player's broke, so we just come along and see you every time.
Yeah. What are you doing? Get a life.
I want to talk about critic ratings, about what's a good rating and what's a bad rating, and whether
Oh
the
wow.
fact that you read a lot into it, because I love the fact that on a lot of your tour posters it has 4-star ratings, and I think a lot of people would wait for that 5-star or whatever it is, and I just thought the 4-star was just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Four's the new five. I mean, I've got over the years, I have been very lucky in that largely over 20 years, I've pretty much exclusively had 4 and 5 stars, pretty much over the 20 years. So I'm very, very lucky. But I think, those stars on that poster for this show, the current reviews for this show, and I've had 4s and 4.5s and things and on this show so far, so which is wonderful. Really happy with that, and so we'll stick them on there. I could put a 5 on there, but it would be from a few years ago, from a different show. So I could do that. I could
That's
stick
the
an
one you
old one
should have
on there.
gone to see. You should have gone to see that one. That
Yeah,
was excellent.
yeah. I could have. I mean, I've 4 and 5. I mean, for me, you say what's a good review? For me, I'm looking for 4s and 5s. If I
Yeah.
did a show that came back all 3s, I think I'd park it. I'd stop.
Yeah, yeah.
I would park it.
I think
Honestly, I
if
would park
somebody
it.
reviewed my radio show and I got a 4, 5 days a week, I'd be more than happy with that.
More than happy with that. Yeah, me too. Me too. But if you got 3s from across the board, would you give up? Would you hang up your headphones?
Wow, I think to be honest, I'd rather get a 1 or a 2, and some people absolutely hate it than 3s across the board.
Exactly. 3s across the board. That's the day I'll give up. If you want to know, predict. If you want to predict, if you want a bit of insider trading, that's the theme of the day, isn't it? Bit of insider
Yeah,
trading.
yeah, very much
If
so.
you see 3 stars across the board, that means I'm going to retire. Put a bet on that.
3s across the board for me is me going, that was Duran Duran. Coming up next, we got Rihanna. And that's it.
Yeah.
I just want to finish talking about the amount of TV shows you do, because like I mentioned earlier on, you do some fantastic TV shows. Do you come up with these ideas or are they presented to you?
It's a variation. It's a variation. The work experience show I came up with a couple of very young lads who were just out of college years ago, very fresh-faced sort of student filmmaker types. We came up with that one together. Growing Pains, I wish I had. Oh, I wish I Comedy Central Growing Pains. It's such a great idea. It's
Yeah, fantastic.
a chat show about being a teenager and
Yeah.
about all the nonsense, all the embarrassment, all the faux pas you make as a teenager. And it's such a nice show to do. It's such a fun show, and I wish that was my idea, but it's not. It's not.
Ah,
I was approached by a production company and asked if I wanted to do it, and I said yes, please. It sounds great. So some things are my idea, some things aren't. I wish they were all mine.
but what comes across is that you really enjoy it. I don't think, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that you would sign on to do something that you didn't enjoy.
No, you might not think it because of all the repeats out there. I'm still classed. I still see people class me as and this week we've got mock the weeks, Rhod Gilbert. I did mock the week 3 times in 2007, 8, 3 times. That's it. 16 years ago or something, I think was the last time I did it, and I still get billed as mock the week. So because that's because of all the repeats that are on. So I seem like I'm on TV endlessly, but I'm actually very selective. I'm really selective in what I do. I probably turn down 95% of it, I would think,
Wow.
because I want to do stuff I enjoy. I want to do
Yeah.
stuff I enjoy.
Well, look, I have to say, I love seeing you, whether it's new, whether it's a repeat, wherever it is. As soon as I see that you're going to be on this show, instantly it piques my interest. So I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. Like I say, you are in Portsmouth on the 6th of July. I've literally had a look, and there are only a handful of tickets left. So if you haven't got a ticket to see Rhod, you want to go and see him. Don't waste any time. Go and get your tickets now. Rhod, thank you so much for talking to me. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, absolute pleasure.